is the Danger Close podcast, Beyond the Books with me, Jack Carr. Today, I'm honored to welcome Clint Smith to the podcast. Clint is a United States Marine, served 2 tours in Vietnam. He was shot, which we discuss in this podcast, and then went on to serve as a police officer, worked for HK, then Gunsight, and then branched out and started Thunder Ranch. So you can find him at Thunder Ranch Inc. on the social channels and on the website. And this is his new book right here, Urban Rifle 2. So without further ado, let's jump into it. All right. Here I am at Thunder Ranch.
Good morning.
With Clint Smith. Good morning,
How are
sir.
you?
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
And for those watching, we're having a little fireside chat here after a couple great days
Like
of
FDR.
training. That's it.
Right.
That's
Fireside
right.
chats, yeah.
Yeah, we've been out here with Stephen Pressfield, author of Gates of Fire, for the last couple days here, reintroducing him to some weapons craft.
Yes, sir.
And had a great time. But Clint, thank you so much for everything, for having us out here, and for all your
Appreciate
love
it.
and support over the years. It means the world to me.
Well, some people may or may not know, but you and I have known each other for decades now, multiple. So we've been around. I think that they go like, oh, he's just interviewing this guy, and kind of go, no, actually, we've known each other for a long time. So this was interesting to have people who are real writers.
Yeah,
Yourself,
well.
okay?
Well, Stephen Pressfield for sure.
Right,
Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but I think it's a good time, and you know, he's an interesting individual. And anybody who knows like Gates of Fire, they'll know the books, and you know that he does a lot of stuff in that from a historical perspective on, you know, war and warriors and stuff. But it was he was a former Marine like myself in 0311.
1965.
Right, 1965, and you know, he just openly said, "Hey, I really haven't shot a gun
Since
or anything
then.
for 50 years."
Right.
You know, so it was interesting, and you know, they you see, without being ugly, you see the light come on. You know, like in the sense of like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. You know, but at the same time, you know, it's like everything. It's a perishable skill when you talk about firearms, and so if you just add to it the fact that it's perishable on its own on your best day, and then add to it, you know, a few years,
a year or two.
yeah. So it was
That was
a
a great few
really
days.
good gig. Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
great few days.
And he got to look at some stuff as far as a historical perspective. I think the correct word is martial arms,
sure.
like the history.
That was great.
So we covered that, and to kind of see the lineage of it was interesting. So and we had some good times, like talking about stuff.
That was great.
You know?
Yeah, I
So,
think they're not used to this sort of thing
right.
in their normal everyday.
So he and I even
experience.
had good conversations this morning. I mean, he's basically, you know, 1 foot in the car and 1 foot out the door.
Yep.
But just, you know, we're just talking about things that, you know, what makes people do what they do. Are they truly? Because I think there are a lot of words today that are really misused or overused.
Oh yeah.
Hero.
I heard you guys.
know,
yeah.
Yeah. So I go like, okay, so did the person jump on the grenade to think that they would be a hero, or did they jump on it for their teammates? And then, do we define them as a hero afterwards? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their act was heroic, but I don't know that in those, and you've been there, and I've been there a long time ago, in those very, very, shall we say, intense moments, you know, something's not going exactly right. We're not losing, but this could be bad. You know, do people rise to that from training? You know, just like I talk to people and they go like, all right, do you remember the first book that you wrote? And do you remember the last book that you wrote? And they were the same, but it was different.
Yeah.
You know, so like, does a person become more heroic if they survive something traumatic?
Definitely most overused terms, especially in the sports world.
Right.
Hero and warrior, when you're talking about someone that hits a ball or makes a basket. You know, it's
For $35 million a year.
Yeah, you know, hey,
Oh, that was a heroic shot.
maybe not.
Maybe
It
not.
was a good shot.
I'm sorry.
It
Yeah,
was a good shot.
You threw the thing a long ways. You know.
And well, I wanted to ask you a couple things
Okay.
today about your experience as far as moving into the Marine Corps, going through boot camp, what happened after that, and then where you ended up. So do you remember your first experience at Marine Corps boot camp? And was it Paris Island?
No, I was a Hollywood. So
You were Hollywood, okay.
Yeah, San
Okay.
Diego. Next to Coronado.
I did know that. Yeah, I knew that.
And
Yep.
so, because we used to listen to the sailors over on Coronado, you could hear them from there. It was a different time then. So,
What year was it?
1967. So I graduated in June of '67. I went in the Marine Corps September, and people go like, "Well, I got it." My family, they weren't like what you call lifers. In other words, they weren't career military, but my dad served in World War II, and my dad's dad, my grandfather served in both 1 and 2. Wow. As far as the wars. And it was just a different time, and we were raised differently. I mean, we were the kind of people that had the American flag flying in the front yard on a pole.
Yep.
And so I don't think about it. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to go to college. Okay, I mean, I knew that. I kind of made it through high school, sort of, and that was the path. That was the deal.
Do you remember the first weapon that had you shot before you got there? Had your dad taken you out
we
shooting?
went hunting as kids, and I used to go with my dad. My dad was a career police officer, like 25 years, so that he did do a career at. And I always went with my dad more than the other kids. My older brother, I go rabbit hunting with him, but I used to go with my dad when my dad was a shooter. I mean, he was a shooter, but I used to go with him, and we'd go to the police range, and then we would shoot. And I would kind of sit there. Yeah, Smith & Wesson 6-inch barrel K38.
And was that his duty?
No, that would have been his competition gun.
Okay.
And in Bullseye they had 3 guns, like a 45, a 38, and a 22.
Oh, okay.
So they shoot 3 classes like in Bullseye. At least they did then. I have no idea what they do now.
Yeah.
So I had shot, and I absolutely I remember. So I went there in September. It was dark, like I think they plan it that way. You get off the bus, get yellow footprints, go inside, get your hair cut, go inside, open a box, put all your shit in a box, have a label made out, send everything you own. You're kind of standing there butt naked, all the stuff that was civilian is now gone.
Yeah.
And literally tens and tens and tens and hundreds of thousands of people have done it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people can relate to it. I mean, there was some form of that for you when you went in the Navy. So
off the bus,
same thing.
So and then the whole thing.
You don't really do very much in the beginning except let's run and let's run and run. And then so the first rifle, the real big introduction, M14.
M14.
So that's what I started with. That's what I grew up with. That's what I qualified with in the Marine Corps. That's what I carried. On occasion, someone always tried to issue me an M16, but later in Vietnam. And so I'd always try to go, oh, look over there, a baby wolf, and then I would get an M79, a grenade launcher. And I used when I was in cap units, I used M14 with the ANPVS-2.
Ooh, I want to take a picture of that.
Yeah, so that's about as big as the M14 and weighs about as much.
And how far could you see with that?
About across the living room.
Yep.
It
didn't get much better by, 2000 when we had the ANPVS 250, I think it was called, or KN 250, and that thing was pretty big and had a bunch of, mirrors and refractors in there. And it got you about out to, I think 250 or so.
Yeah, and this thing literally, in the very, very best of conditions, you could probably sort of think you saw something at 100 yards.
Right, we couldn't identify it.
Yeah, right. So, and that wasn't necessarily good or bad, but whatever. So, but to backtrack,
M14 in boot camp,
M14
you qualify.
Boot camp, okay.
And then where do you go from there?
Go to Edson Range, and then in theory you go, at that time frame, you went home for a week or 10 days or something, and in 1967, everyone knew where you were going.
Yep.
You were going one
Wasn't going to be a surprise.
Yeah, FMS Westpac, that's what it was called then. Fleet Marine Force, Westpac, Western Pacific, Vietnam. So, okay, no problem. So I went from there, came home, in theory, go back to what are called staging battalions. So they stage everyone to get ready to go.
So there wasn't a advanced infantry type thing?
No, I already did that. So
boot camp and then...
boot camp, ITR.
ITR. And that's
infantry training. Now it's called School of Infantry, I think.
Okay.
Now.
And where was that?
S.W.A.T. And that Camp Pendleton.
Okay.
Okay. So you got to climb up the hill and down the hill. And,
and still M14s.
Yeah, still M14s. Nothing changed on that.
About how long was that?
So can I say a month?
Yeah.
I kind of think
so about
that's
a
right.
month-ish.
I think it was about
You
a
go
month.
there
yeah.
and you're doing infantry
Just
tactics.
infantry tactics. They had an improvised sort of what you'd call at that time, since we were fighting in Vietnam, they had like a Vietnamese village.
Okay.
They'd have play actors, and you were supposed to chase people around in the woods and then run through barbed wire and be crazy.
Had those instructors been in Vietnam already and come back?
I'm pretty sure that most of them had. I vividly remember that my 3 drill instructors in boot camp had all been to Vietnam, and 2 of them had Purple Hearts.
Wow.
And there were 2 E5s, sergeants, and then the senior drill instructor was a gunnery sergeant.
Okay.
Okay, so you'd have 3. So they would be in the daytime mostly working you over. Then there'd always be one that had the duty at night. So like you post the fire watch and
yes.
So boot camp. ITR.
And in ITR, it was M14, and did you do M79? Did you do any mortar work?
Oh, yeah,
Did you do
we
any
shot
machine gun work?
M79s. We shot, at that time, 3.5 rocket launchers. You got to fire a round, a live round.
One round.
You got to turn on a flamethrower, have it strapped on your back, and burn stuff up, which was, and most of it was just, like literally, like we shot a pistol, 1911, and it was literally a fan fire. You walked up, guy loaded the magazine, loaded the gun. Don't point it at me, point it down there, pull the trigger 7 times, great, get out of here.
Next.
Yeah, next, yeah, right. So you could say that, I've seen one.
Wow.
But that's sort of like I saw a baby wolf,
Okay.
like, well.
Same thing, like throw one grenade type thing?
Yeah, throw a grenade, and that was always exciting, because like some knucklehead always dropped it in the pit, so everybody bails out. So, then.
The machine guns, any M60?
Yeah, I think we got them, loaded it, unloaded it, but then they started to get into like, sort of specialty stuff, because when you got out of boot camp, you would be given your MOS. So like I was 0311, the Army would be 11 Bravo, 0331 are guns, machine guns, 0341s, mortars. Okay, so like you'd start to know what your skill set task should be.
Right.
Okay. You shot all the other stuff as a familiarization, but you will like do that. So and that was that. And most of it, that was. I'm not saying they rushed you, because I don't know like where are you going.
Right.
But at the same time, okay, let's.
It wasn't very in depth.
Yeah. You just get it. Let's get it done. Let's get out of the way. Okay.
How about tactics-wise? Was it flankings and ambushes and anything like that?
Yeah, to some degree, but same thing. Like in retrospect. Our deal is always like, hey, I have 3 days to teach somebody how to shoot a rifle. So I can't really beat them up very much, okay? But then, I wasn't necessarily a paying customer, so to speak. You just do what they tell you. Yeah, you go do that. So
how about claymores? Did you guys do claymores?
No, don't mess with those.
Okay.
That would be then. I know that the guys that were given the MOS for EOD, explosive, those guys, they started messing with stuff. The gun guys, they got guns. The mortar guys got mortars, okay? And the infantry guys like myself, you just basically got sort of like, okay, here's the flash view of everything, so to speak. You did that. I went home, came back.
Went home again. Got another week or two.
Only one time. So boot camp.
Okay.
All the ITR. Go home for a week, come back, and then you go to staging battalions. And so when you're at staging battalions are actually held at Camp Pendleton. Okay. So the staging was there, and then you stand on line, you walk up, and they give you your orders. Like FMF Westpac, smack them FMF, because everyone's still private. I mean, you might be a PFC or 2 in there.
Okay.
And then I got to the front, and they go DLIWC, Defense Language Institute, West Coast, Monterey.
Did you know what that was?
I had no idea. I even asked the guy, what's that? He goes, you're going to language school. And I go, really? That was my first inkling that the Marine Corps might have idiosyncrasies. I'm kind of going like, really? Dude, I don't even speak English right, okay? I took high school in Spanish in high school, and
do you remember taking an aptitude test for it, or did they just say like
whatever? I know now. I know. They go, hey, what did you do as a kid? There was some pleasant person there when you first got there, and you kind of go like, oh, I went hunting with my dad. 0311. Okay, I saw a gun once on TV. 0311.
How'd they get the language for you?
I have no idea. So somewhere in there, I must have guessed right 3 times in a row. So, but anyway, so it was a 90-day wonder course. And of course, it
So
was
up to Monterey, you go.
Yeah, Monterey. So we got like 3 months in scenic Monterey. Go down to the pier.
Yeah, not bad.
Look at the Coast Guard boats. Look at the hoochie coochie girls.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, it was a total waste of the government's money for 90 days. And it wasn't that you did or didn't. You know what I mean? I found a piece of paper the other day. It says I got like 85% when I graduated.
Nice.
So whatever. But the interesting part was it was a total waste of money because you were taught social speaking. Like, hey, Jack, would you like to come to, hey, Bob, would you like to come to dinner?
Right.
Instead, Nguyen, would you like, And so that's not what you needed. What you needed was move the machine gun over here, shoot the shit out of everything that moves, And so.
Yeah, that was still a problem in 2007 when I went, and they sent me for French because they thought I was going to go to North Africa, West Africa, and do a couple things, and those are former French colonies. And I got to those. I did actually go, and I had an interpreter with me the whole time. So the 6 months plus the month to get there and the month to leave, kind of on either side of it, that was also a waste of the government's money, and also we did not learn those things that we needed to know about. Hey, this rifle, this, that, move that over here. Those things we didn't learn.
From what the people that I've talked to who went to language school, that seems to be a pretty generalized theme. In other words, it was okay, but I didn't learn whatever. So
got a few months in Monterey.
Yeah, so 3 months in Monterey, the scenic on the beach kind of thing, and then literally we left right from Monterey, went to El Toro, went to Okinawa, stayed at Okinawa like 2 weeks.
And are you with the guys now that you're going to be in country with, or you're just kind of?
Because you remember, that's like now we're starting to talk the first quarter of '68 that you're getting ready to go in.
So there's no workup. You're not going to see. So the guys to your right and left, and you've done this training together. You're just going.
You're going.
Baptism by fire.
The guy on your right or left is a Marine, and remember that was during TET. So casualties are really high. A lot of killed, a lot of wounded, a lot of disorganization, a lot of disruption of units. So the deal with it was I simply got plugged in. So like mine was simple. I just got out of language school, remember? So like when I got there, they give you your thing, and you get on a C-130, and they fly you to Quang Tri.
Okay.
Right at the very north,
That's
northern part of Vietnam, right?
Because the Marines were in the north, is that?
Normally I-Corps, and there was some stuff there. So in my first, I was 0311 Infantry. My first unit was Mike Company 3-3, 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marines, 3rd Marine Division. So Mike 3-3. So
you get off that plane and there's somebody.
You get off the plane at the C-130. There's a gunnery sergeant there. All you guys, okay, and then they take you as a herd. And then when they get there, okay, you're going to Mike Company, you're going to India Company. Like everybody from left of my hand is going to Mike. Everybody right of my hand is going to India. It's just that kind of. There wasn't anything. You go to the company clerk. Name, rank, serial number, blah, 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 blah. And I, kind of they shuffle papers around.
Do you have a weapon at this point?
No, not yet.
Okay.
And so then somewhere in that first couple of days, they take you and you go to the armory, you get a rifle. The first rifle they gave me was the M16. We walk out to the range, put the magazine in, load the gun, pull the trigger, it won't fire.
Wow.
Take the safety off, which it was already off, but it still doesn't fire. Put it in full auto, it doesn't fire.
Wow.
I kind of go like,
Do you have an M14?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. And so like, they go, oh, don't worry about it, we'll get you another one. So we go get one, and
Were they surprised that it didn't work? Or were they like, oh, here's another one?
Nah, didn't work.
Wow.
Marines were, in my opinion, the Marines were never impressed with the M16.
Yeah.
If you would have fought the Vietnam War, like when they went in 65 on Operation Starlight, that was the first big, like unit thing, right? Everybody there was M14s. Okay, that was. If you look back at photographs, everybody's getting off the boat with M14, and those were actually units that went as a unit. So you and I would have known each other at Camp Pendleton.
We train up together.
Yeah, right. So in other words, that was actually. I'm thinking I'm more of like a replacement.
Okay.
Plug-in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we were, and so like. Okay, great. New M16. Okay, bang, thank God.
That works.
Okay, awesome. Don't put it in full auto. Waste ammunition. Perfect. I got that. Okay, great. So we go back and sit down, and we're there. And excuse me, it's about week 10 days into it.
Yeah.
And gunnery sergeant comes in one day. It's like, we'll say 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Get all your shit. You're going now. Your unit's in contact. Okay? They need people. I go like, really? So it wasn't like, hey, let's have a beer before we go. Get on the bird.
Off you go.
So the first LZ that I went in,
and you're getting on the helos now.
yeah, right. So now we're in Chinooks.
You're in Chinooks.
Right. And C-47s, the Marine,
Okay,
yeah,
yep.
you know, that version.
Got
So the two-bladed
Yep.
crash and burn lawn darts. Okay, so they go, get in the thing. Yeah, great, no problem. So the LZ that we went in on was reasonably warm. Our guys are kind of in an open area rice paddy. There's some tree lines around. The rounds are coming. They come in. When they come in, they kick us off. They kick ammo off. They bring 4 people and put them on the bird.
Dead, wounded?
Bags, yeah.
Yeah.
And a couple of the guys, and off the bird goes. So like someone goes, get down. Okay, and I go like, okay, good idea. So I go over, and I remember the guy really well. He was a corporal of Marines. His name was Jose. He said, like, you're in my fire team. Get down here. He said, take this. Do you know how to use this? And I go, hell yeah. He gave me M79.
Okay.
That was the last time I saw an M16.
Wow.
I just kind of over the, like, we didn't leave it laying there.
Right.
So like, got it, no problem. Yeah, and then we stayed there for a while. And
Like a while, like days?
no, like about another hour and change. But before the hour was over, they kind of brought the belle of the ball there. So we had 2 F-4 Phantoms come in.
Nice.
It was my first time seeing close air.
Okay.
And you know you've been there. And I'm not being ugly about anybody else, but Marines fly really close, and they really fly close for Marines.
Awesome.
So it was the first time that I saw them. The fans came in. You could
Napalm?
kind of see them before you hear them. Delay bombs. I call them umbrella bombs.
Okay.
And so like it was really weird because everybody goes, put out your air panels, and I go, I don't have an air panel. Okay, like, which I got one like the next day.
Okay.
But,
And that's just the same
big,
thing that we have,
just
colored.
the colored panel. Stuck it on the dike, chunk of rock.
Hunter
push one
orange.
on it. Yeah, Hunter orange. Shoot at me, orange. Yeah. We put the panels out. Everybody goes like, okay, get your heads down. Here it comes. And you could hear them before you could see them.
Wow.
They were there before you actually got the idea that they were there.
Yeah.
And I remember rolling over and looking back, and you could see them release the bombs like over there. You kind of go, that's a bit short, except that the umbrella comes out, the 4 spinners.
Wow. Okay, I've seen pictures of that.
So it goes over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
The bombs go over. Jeez. You can feel the jets, the afterburners. I wasn't smart enough. I mean, dude, I'm like 18 going on 19. I wasn't smart enough to know what the heat was. I'm kind of going, oh, here comes hell. Like whatever flashes to your head when you're sort of dumb. And so they went over, whacked in the tree line. Wow. They fly off, and we kind of lay there for a little bit, and they kind of go, okay, everybody get up, get online. We're going into the tree line. So you go in there, and it's a cluster fornication. I mean, those bombs, they jack shit up. Okay, it's just like whole shit, everything's shredded. Okay, stinks really bad. Okay, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it's the ordnance, like the
combination of
yeah.
bodies.
So stayed there. So this is my one really bad Clint story. So we get in a hole. I got in a hole. We're there, and gets dark, and you know what I mean when you can put your hand out but you can't see it.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that dark. You've been there.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And is it triple canopy? Like so
no, this is kind of open still in the plains.
Okay.
So we're basically west of Quang Tree before you actually get into and we're east of the rock pile. So we're in an area around what's called Cam Low.
Okay.
And so we were there, and just kind of in the jungle. And the guy goes like, dude, I got to get some sleep. I go like, okay, cool.
So you're on watch.
Yeah. He goes like, wake me up. Here's my watch. Wake me up. Okay, cool.
And each smaller maneuver element had their own watch, or you guys with?
No. We were online.
Okay.
And so everybody dug in, and then so like you're online, and then they don't put out LPs. They don't want anybody forward.
Okay.
So because they're
You're all
really not
together.
sure what it is that we're kind of online, and then they kind of turn the ends in, from what I remember.
Okay.
Okay, so that you kind of don't get sort of flanked, so to speak.
Yep.
And then they did put LPs behind us.
Okay.
Which would kind of make sense. Listing posts.
Yep.
Which is actually, that's about all you do. And so all the stuff that everyone knows that's been there.
So you're on watch.
Yeah, so I'm on watch. And so, like, I'm with my guy, and the time goes by, and I go, hey, dude. And he goes like, hey, watch a little bit longer. I'm tired. I go, okay, cool.
And essentially, you're just listening because
just
you
listening.
can't see anything. And there's no night vision. There's
no nothing. No night vision. No, we own the nights. Okay, none of that shit, which I still laugh at when people say that dumb shit. Like, hey, we own the night. No, you don't. Okay. So this is where I made my first decision. About whatever time it was, however dark it was, I heard something in front of me. I knew it was the right direction, that it shouldn't be making noise. So I decide to, by the way, not very many people know this at all, okay? So, like, I'm doing this because we're friends. So, like, I'm there, and I kind of go like, oh, fuck. So I go, hey, dude, I think there's, oh, yeah, okay, okay. Dude, I think okay, it's okay. I go like, all right, okay, that's it. I've had it. I'm literally about to shit myself. So I just pull out a frag, pull the pin, chunk the shit out of this bitch. My best Wyoming, what the hell, okay, and hopefully I didn't say anything.
Oh, good.
Okay, and it lands and goes off. And then everybody online opened up. Okay, and I got all my tax money in that next minute that I've ever paid in American ammunition, because everyone shot the shit out of everything in front. And people go, that's not very tactical. I got it, okay? So then the next thing, when they got everyone to stop, because, that's what Marines do, they shoot shit, okay? It's just the way it is, okay? So when they got everyone to stop, then somebody who was the gunnery sergeant came down and go, who threw that fucking grenade? And I go, oh, this doesn't sound good. So I go like, not me. So I kept the grenade ring for like 3 months in my pocket.
No one ever knew?
No one ever knew. It was me. Okay, so like the dude, of course, when the thing went off, the guy is sleeping, he jumped straight up, and he's like, pow, 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 and I go like, wow. And people go, that's not very good fire discipline. That all depends on whether or not you've ever been there before.
Exactly.
It's easy for people to go, well, real man, hey, you'd have got an E-tool and went out there. No, a real man wouldn't have been there. He'd have been at home in the back seat with a girl of like a car he was just buying until he got drafted. Well, you know what I'm saying? So, and you can ask Heidi. I very rarely ever tell that, but because it sort of sounds chicken shitty.
No, it doesn't
but
at all.
I kind of go like, hey, man, dude, I'm 18.
Heck, it's a lot of responsibility. What was out there?
Nothing. Or whatever it was that got blown up and shot. Okay. So we did the next day. We did the next day get up when it was daylight, and we went through, and there were people there, but I believe, were killed by the airstrike the day before. And like, so that was my first visual on dead bodies. Like in the sense of like dead bodies. Nothing spectacular in dead bodies. Dead bodies, they're dead bodies. They just don't have life anymore. Yeah. And then we came out the other side, went in a rice paddy. Again, we went across open paddies. And then that's where I saw a second bunch, quite a few actually, probably 25 or 30-ish, I'd guess, dead bodies. And then we went in to join up with our company's sister platoons.
Okay.
So like we were, I know exactly. First squad, first platoon, okay.
Nice.
First fire team, first squad, first platoon, Mike 333.
You don't forget that stuff as a Marine.
333. Right, okay, so.
Do you remember your mission? Did they tell you, here's your mission, this is what we're doing here?
No, we're going
Here's
out
the
there.
commander's intent.
No,
None of that.
Dude, I was a private.
So no one
Actually, I was a PFC then. No.
So never explained any of that?
No, we just get online, stay online, don't do nothing stupid, and like go whatever.
Wow.
So
we're here to clear this hamlet, this province.
So it was interesting when we got to this place. They needed to move us somewhere, so they brought in Amtraks.
Okay.
An Amtrak is a tracked gasoline bomb. Okay, so like you can always tell when things are bad when you go like, okay, great, Amtrak's I rode in, they lower the thing, you get inside, they don't lower the thing. The whole roof is covered in sandbags.
Wow.
When the door comes open, if you have anything heavy like ordnance, you set it inside, which I thought later on wasn't bright, but the whole floor is covered in 2 layers of sandbags. Then we all got on the roof.
Oh, wow.
That way, if it hit something, yeah, right. So we did that, and then I do remember getting off, and I think they call them in your world maybe CBUs, the cluster bombs.
Yep, I think we were still using those when I first got to the teams, I think.
So, like, when we got off and all these dead bodies were there were undetonated CBUs around. So they're going like, yo, new guy, don't kick that. Kind of like, okay. So that's something you learn very quick in Vietnam, never kick anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like walk down a road, kick a Coke can, which is an American kid alive walking down the street today who walks by a Coke can that's empty that won't kick it.
I bet.
And they wired them all. Everything was wired. So so the next day I saw the first Marine get killed, but I didn't. So here's how are we still good with this?
Oh, yeah.
Still want to go on this track?
Yep.
So we're walking along, and it's a bright sunny day. Everything's good. We're still in the patties, tree line here or there. You got flankers out. Now we're actually doing military stuff. You have.
And you're learning as you go.
Yeah, we have a wedge. I mean, I knew what a wedge was.
Okay.
And I knew what flankers out was, and I knew I didn't want to be the guy on the flank. That's really. And fortunately, I got to stay with my squad leader because I have the grenade launcher. Because in those days, the grenadiers still stayed with the squad leader. It wasn't like everyone had a 203.
Okay.
So in theory, the squad leader would run the 3 fire teams, and then the grenadier would stay with the squad leader. The squad leader would designate targets for the fire teams, and then you'd have bounding, go forward, bounding, go forward, bounding, go forward. And I don't know why I remember all this shit, but I do. So anyways, we were just walking along, and then there's this whomping big explosion. I mean, just whoop, whoop, and you just like a shockwave one where you kind of like a Bose commercial. And I remember seeing then, or later, whatever, something go through the air, and okay, great, this is a bomb. So everybody gets down, everybody faces outboard, everybody, okay, you start digging in, get covered, what's going on? We're out kind of in the open again, which we think we'd have learned our lesson from 2 or 3 days, but not, you get it? So then we start, okay, what was it? Who did it? Where are they? Okay, and so we count off by fire teams, fire team guy checks his 4, this fire team, that fire team, squad's okay, squad leader's okay, grenadier's okay, my guys are good, that squad's okay, you tell the second squad, blah, 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 blah. So, no disrespect, okay? So
And each squad had a radio guy?
No radios in those days. The
So there
platoon
wasn't
would
one
have
guy,
a radio.
one platoon,
Right,
one radio for one
Right,
platoon.
right. So prick 25.
Okay.
Okay, so they go through a head count. Everybody's accounted for. And they go So they go back and do it again. That's typical of the Marines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and so now we come up short the radio man for our FAC, which I didn't know what that was then.
Right.
Forward air controller.
Yep.
So he was actually a Marine aviator, I found out. Okay, but his radio operator had either stepped on it or was command detonated on because of the radio. Because remember, in our radios, the whip's real high.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I can't help myself. And I'm just telling the story now because we're friends for decades. Yesterday, when we were doing our little demos and stuff, okay, when you move with your rifle muzzle up. And so I go, okay, you're 6 foot tall. You just made yourself 9 foot tall in a fight.
Oh, when I turned and ran back. Yeah, I did have it up on the
so,
on
and
the
I get it.
yeah.
And so I always kind of, so I go because always I think, and I remember when I taught baby cops, I go, dude, don't get behind the car and hold your rifle up if you're moving behind the car because you look like a German U-boat. And you're telling people where you are. It's already bad enough that we're big 6 foot guys, but now we're being even bigger. So the deal with it is they may have walked down the Ho Chi Minh Trail, but they figured out right away who put the Phantom up their ass.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
so radio operators were really marked. Okay. So like my high school friend that was killed, Steven Steinbacher, he was with 1-9, and he was killed being a radio operator and shot through the head, as most of them were. Okay,
yeah, just targeted.
So, just targeted. They're
right
just literally. I mean, everything swings there because
radio first.
That was
and
one.
then,
that one
leadership
thing
next.
is right. So the deal with it is you you stop that communications link, and so then that's what they're after. So, yeah.
And this is your day 2, really.
Yeah. So anyways, it was that guy. And so we figured out later on, because like, the new guy goes like, hey, I saw something fly over there. So they go look, and of course it's the guy's boot. When they found the boot, then they found his dog tag, because we always put a dog tag on our boot.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be the dog tag boot.
Wow.
And then the pilot, the fat guy, figures out, hey, my guy's gone, which I think he did earlier, but he wasn't, like, is he over here with these guys kind of digging a hole, or, like, okay, great, he actually is gone, like vaporized. There's nothing to pick up, nothing to theoretically send home, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I know you've seen renditions of that. So, yeah, and then
the mission change. I mean, you didn't know what the mission really was.
No, they basically in those days they would have called it like search and destroy, or they called it called it sweeps.
Okay.
So you would do a sweep on an area and stuff like that, and then I stayed in the DMZ. We went all the way up into the triple canopy jungle, and that really sucked.
And you're patrolling, and then where you stay.
Yeah, the deal with it is like you
jungle?
can be in the bush, and I've done it before. You can be in that stuff, and literally, you'll see them on TV, and I'm not being disrespectful, but it's Hollywood, so they have to fill the frame. You know what I mean? Like, so they got to see 4 or 7, 8 or 9 guys moving. Well, literally, if you started out in the morning, once you got out of the hole, and we always filled our holes, okay? And we've been known on occasion to fill the holes and leave something a little extra in there, like a grenade with the pin pulled out, like underneath a can of C-Rats, because they would come back in, the NBA would dig the holes back up and see what we left behind.
Right.
Okay? Because Marines also are lazy. If they can figure out a way to get rid of a piece of heavy ordnance without having to carry it, they will. That's a typical grunt. Like a chunk that mortar tube. Oh, I must have fell off my pack.
Yeah. Still the same today.
Yeah. So so we went into the triple canopy, and I don't like that at all. You could get up in the morning, once you filled the holes, you could walk all day long, which I'm sure we didn't go very far, maybe a mile or 2 in that shit. No flankers out, because you'll lose them. Like,
gone.
Go across the living room, they're gone.
Yep.
And you would see the guy in front of you and the guy in back of you. And you wouldn't know that you could be, you 3, Larry, Curly, and Mo, okay, you're there. And as far as you know, everyone else went home to the mall.
Yep.
You have no idea, okay? And then at the end of the day, you sort of gather back up a little bit, okay? Trying to avoid the one grenade will get you all, which isn't the grenade. The mortars, they're really good at mortars.
Yeah.
And so mortar-wise, I'll give you, so I have a friend of mine who's passed now, Major Tom Silver, landed at Incheon.
Wow.
He was hit once in Korea by mortar fire. And he said the Koreans and the Chinese were absolutely punks with mortars. He said the Vietnamese, they'll mortar your ass. So he served 2 tours in Vietnam, wounded both times in Vietnam, and almost lost his leg on the second one, both times mortar fire.
Really?
So when we were up north, they were really good with mortars.
Yeah.
Okay? They're really good with mortars. And people go like, well, like you're glorifying. I'm not glorifying anything. Before they fought us, they fought the French. Before they fought the French, they fought the Japanese. Some of those guys had been at war for 30 years, going on 40, And so like you had freaking 55, 60-year-old guys trumping around in the jungle, like who had been doing it for a lifestyle. Yeah. And now you have an 18-year-old putz who's chucking hand grenades in the dark. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, did you guys, when you're making those movements, did you have a designated point man, or did the point man?
Yeah, the point man.
Out?
The point man should rotate, and he would rotate. So you'd go with the point man, and then you'd go through the squad. Okay, and
so everybody got a chance to do.
Well, the idea was it wasn't so much a chance, but it was a chance to catch your breath.
Yeah,
because if you're really on point, when you're on point in that, you're not on point. You're just a guy out in front with a machete.
Oh, okay.
And you're just cutting a hole.
Did you dual point? Did you have somebody doing that and somebody right behind him or anything?
Yeah, well, the guy behind him usually. And when we did it, generally, there'd be 3 guys that kind of stayed really close to the front, so they would rotate, and they carried 3.5 rocket launcher, bazookas, hot.
Okay.
In a tube, wired up, ready to go. Then they'd have a bag man and another guy, and then they would trade off carrying the gun, and then the ammo between the 3 of them. Because the idea was if you make contact front, okay, normally you'd want guns up, but the problem is you can't see anything in the guns. I mean, like in the sense of what am I shooting at?
Yeah.
So the bazooka would go forward. Anybody like who would remotely figure out where something was coming from, they just launch that bazooka there. And it didn't matter. The crazy bastards, like if it's 15 yards in front of you, they would chunk the thing there, okay? And you just kind of go like, that's pretty close. And the M79s, awesome, but not in triple canopy.
Yeah. Did you have those the flechette rounds or things like that?
Yeah, but they're worthless. HE primarily.
Yeah.
But it rotates a nominal 12 times.
Yeah.
The arms.
Yep.
And it doesn't go very far in 12 revolutions.
No.
So you're a lot of times eating your own stuff.
Yeah.
So you had to be careful. So like what I did as I got a little bit smarter, I learned to look for openings in the trees, like up.
Yep.
And I would try to throw them up and have it come back down and then detonate like an airburst.
Okay.
And if you could get direct fire, like, I see something and I can put it through that hole, but then, they're sort of a trajectory weapon anyways, not a line of sight weapon.
Oh, yeah. I was the comm guy, so I got the pre-September 11th days. I was doing that quite a bit.
Right. So
but, did you have a shotgun guy in there anywhere?
Usually the staff sergeant, the gunnery sergeants, they carry shotguns.
Okay.
But I think it was more because it looked cool.
Okay.
And they're effective.
Do you remember what they were? Were they the Ithacas?
Ithacas, and I still had Winchester 97 trench guns.
Oh, wow.
So those are like old guns. Those
Getting the money's worth out of those.
World War II guns, yeah. And I didn't see a lot of Winchesters, but I remember seeing them because it always freaked me out that they'd carry it with the, as I got older, it freaked me out. At the time, I was too stupid. But they would carry it, with a hammer down on a live round. Of course, it's an inertia firing pin, so a bad idea if you tripped or fall.
Okay.
It's usually, in theory, what you and I would do if we did it today, we'd put it on half cock.
Okay.
But the problem with that is in the middle of the shitstorm, you got to reach up and
Remember.
cock the
Yeah, you
hammer
gotta
all the
remember.
way. Yeah, you got to get it to go where the other ones. And I'm not, I absolutely be. If we went black and play video, it'd be absolutely terrifying to see gun control. I mean, like a muzzle control. I mean, dude, you just like walk, a click uphill in triple can. You're just like, I'm trying to stay alive here.
Yeah.
So that went on for a while. And making a longer story shorter than I just helicopter landed one day and they go Smith 2383729, get your butt on the bird, went on the bird, flew back to Quang Tree. They go hey, great, we're reassigning you. Okay, great. And then we send you to Da Nang. Okay, I go to Da Nang. I get there, you go and we see that you've been to Army Language School. And so you speak Vietnamese, and I kind of go, English?
85%.
Okay. Yeah, 85% were. And so then I got picky. And so what we did was same thing. The first guy I met and that kind of was buddied up with was a guy named Doug Bader. And he was actually was an American Indian.
Oh,
He
no
was from the Carolinas. He was a Cherokee.
Wow.
So and that, he was. You know what I mean? Not like everyone else today goes, oh yeah, I have some Indian blood in me. No, you don't. Okay. Do a DNA thing, you're a Russian. Okay? Whatever. So anyway, so we got grouped together because we were replacing a cap unit that had been wiped out during TET. So they put 12 of us together, Larry, Curly, Mo, Jerry, and Steve, and
off you go.
Off you go, and okay, great, go here. This is where they all were. This is where they all got killed. This is the gate that's blown up. We're not doing this anymore. So we're making the cap units mobile.
Okay.
Because
they were living in the villages at that point already? Or?
They didn't live in the village. They lived right outside the village. So there'd be like a compound, barbed wire, bunkers, sandbags, mortar pit, whatever.
But the idea was that was kind of their
The problem with it is the villages are probably what got the Marines killed during TET, because that way the people will say the other guys, not necessarily the bad guys, which we discussed, the other guys got really close, and so they were able to breach the wire and get them. And how that goes. It could have been no one knew TET was coming. That's why they completely. If we had known they were going to take over Way, we would have stopped it. Okay, so so we just went into these, and then the cap units, they go okay, we lost too many, so we're going to make you mobile. So you stay right in the village in the daytime, and at night you run. We generally would run 2 ambushes. We'd split the 12.
Okay.
You were never without another Marine. So the smallest common denominator was 2, be me and you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we might have 2 or 3 or 4 Vietnamese with us, which we generally after a while picked kind of the Vietnamese we wanted.
Yeah.
You kind of figure out which guy.
Not much has changed.
Well, you remember what I told you about indigenous troops, okay? Yeah. Normal, don't trust any of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever. And then so we would start in a certain place. As it became dark, we'd go to a certain point. We would stop. We'd split. We'd go to certain points.
Are these predetermined ambush points based
pretty
off
much.
intel or based off, hey, there's a trail here?
Based on dominating that area of operations.
Okay.
In other words, we're trying to. So if you ever look at cap units, and most people, but anyways,
There's the book The Village.
There's in that area where we were at Hoi An, there was a minimum and maximum launch range for the 122 rockets. Since we were next to and guarding Da Nang, so to speak, these belts ran on tactical maps from South China Sea to South China Sea. Da Nang's in the middle. This is where they can launch them from. They got to be here or here, okay? They put the cap units right in there. They bracketed them. We butt up. So our tactical area of operations would butt up one basically area. And generally an area was about 2 clicks.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes smaller based on whether there was a river. So ours was a little smaller because there was a river that ran through, which was actually probably more dangerous than not having it, because rivers are mobility, relatively quiet. People can cross them, so like whatever. So we did that, and and so it was pretty much a happy meal. We'd do the 2 ambushes. Everybody would stay cool. And then what you do is just... and
you'd initiate them with what? Do you remember?
Yeah, usually claymores.
Okay. So now you had the claymore.
Yeah, we now when you're in the cap units, you're in the big league.
Okay.
By that I mean we go to our company headquarters, which was at Hoi An. The captain was there, and then there'd be like a staff sergeant or a gunnery sergeant there. So that was the base. But you would go there when we got there. I mean, you basically, of course, you had to give all your weapons back to your parent unit when you left. So like when I left Quang Tri, after I left my company, I turned my rifle in. Then I went to, so they go like, when you get to Da Nang, we go, you got a gun? Don't worry. It's like that line. And everybody thinks they invented it. Okay, if it's a big fight, you'll find a gun. You know that one. Okay, so like it was, so when we got to Hoi An, we get there, Captain, Vogelsang, big German guy. He command Marines, and now you're actually being treated a little bit more like Marines rather than children. Even probably that was a mistake. But he opens his door, and there's this room, man, and there's World War III in there.
Yeah.
Man, you pick a gun. I mean, that was
What did you grab? M14?
So
M79?
actually in the beginning I grabbed, because they didn't actually have one then, I got an M79 again. Okay. So I had a 1911.
Sidearm too?
Yeah, I had a 1911, and I probably was more threat to myself than anybody else, because I absolutely knew nothing about that in the context that we're talking. Yeah, Dad's plinking, with 22 pistols. Yeah, so I got an M79. That's cool, and everybody got what they wanted, and then they even had a 57 recoilless in there, which is shoulder fired. So we, on occasion, would go take it and just take it out and. If you got something you didn't like, because it was kind of a surprise package. Someone would chuck a grenade at you at night, you'd throw 57 HE back at them.
Yeah.
So so we weren't cowboys, but you could have a tendency to be cowboy-ish. Okay, because to clarify a point here, which is a lot of stupid people don't get. When we went into the villages, our job there was to protect the people, okay? We would run.
So now they've told you a mission. Here's your mission.
We have a mission now. So our mission is to harass, interdict, okay, and make contact if possible, okay? So that's the deal. You're in there to stop them from getting in to launch those rockets on the airbase. That's your job.
Got it.
And to protect your village. And it was truly hearts and minds, and this is what I mean by that. So we would protect them. We would harvest the rice. We would guard the rice, okay, until it was properly put wherever they wanted to put it, okay, so that we're cutting off food from the enemy, okay? You're cutting off movement, all right? And so then what we would do is ambushes at night, come back to the village in the daytime, never in the same place, always change.
Okay.
Sometimes split into 2 groups, which are now not really fire teams, because there's usually 6 guys and 6 guys, or 5 guys and 5 guys, or you know what I'm saying.
Well, that's who you're going out with.
That's my Marines.
And then a couple.
So those guys were okay, you and you're going to go to the east end of the village.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys set up there. Then what we would do is, as people would walk through on the roads, you would run ID checks. Okay, who are you? Where are you going? Where are you from? Show me your papers.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know you. What are you doing in my village?
Right, and you'd have Indige there with you.
Yeah, speaking Vietnamese, and then half of it, by now you're speaking Vietnamese, so you got all the, the really good stuff, put your hands up,
Right.
show me your papers, you know what I'm saying? So same as in Iraq. You figured it out after a while. Afghanistan, same thing. So
Were you guys when you set up in those ambushes? Do you remember you were online or L?
online L's, and we actually ran circular ones, okay? So like the idea is like we had, and you never set the same place every night. You'd always go. So a favorite place, for example, there was a cemetery. So you would set up just like inside in a circle, okay, which sounds weird, but not, okay? Because the problem with linears, it always sounds really good and it's all tactical, but I can tell you, okay, from personal experience, no matter which way you're facing, it's the wrong way. Okay?
So circle, then you can
Face everything.
face everything, and then would you shift when you saw them coming down or when they initiated with the
No,
would they fold
basically
out?
you want to hold the ground where you are until the contact is basically made and then resolved. And then we were big on jumping up and going. I mean, everybody, I got it, move through, okay. And it's dark, dude.
Okay.
You have no idea. We'll say there's 10 Marines. So you're there with 10 Marines and 15 Vietnamese. You're there with 10 people.
So you guys light it up and then
Well,
out of there?
you had to kind of encourage people to shoot. And most of the time, if you made contact, you could break contact. And the circular ones we anticipated we would hold. So we always had air, like puffs on call.
Nice.
And
Okay.
of course, the Air Force, the Air Base, took really good care of us because they knew the cap units were keeping the rockets off of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when you called
Yeah.
for air, they basically
there.
just came off the ground, wheels up, and they're over you. I mean, that's how quick. So like if they had a bird like in the ready, then you'd get stuff really good.
Yeah.
So yeah. So and the most I've ever seen, I have. I told you, and I don't mean anything about it. Okay, it's just that there was a time when I made a poor decision and I got an enemy marksmanship award.
And is that this deployment here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so towards the end, I only got like 2 weeks to go.
2 weeks to go.
And so like.
So you've been here for how long at this point? Almost a year?
Going on over a year. Going on.
Over a year.
Yeah. Marine tours were 13 months.
Okay.
Armies were 12. Okay. So like typical Marine Corps was
Exactly.
1 month. Yeah. Right. So like that particular incident, which is
2 weeks to go.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I got a little scrap. Some stuff flew around. I got dinged a little bit, but it was awesome.
On patrol?
Actually, we were in an ambush.
You were initiating it?
We sprung it.
Okay.
Okay, and that was cool, except the ambush, when you talk about linear, we would set up, this ambush was a linear. The idea with a linear ambush, okay, in my mind's eye for what we did is they would have what they would call KT's killer teams, whatever, okay, another fancy name. You'd take generally 2 Marines and 1 or 2 Vietnamese, trustworthy, and you would go out and look for trouble.
Okay.
Then you would start trouble.
So 4 guys.
Right. And then you would come back, hopefully with everyone communicating properly.
Yes.
Okay. And see if they were stupid enough to follow, which they usually did.
Would you leave a stay behind, like Claymore, time fuse, or anything like that?
I did on occasion. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times, we generally didn't leave unfired ordnance on anything because you always ate it later.
Or if you're running back, did you have a Claymore?
Yeah, sort of like a John Wick thing, I guess you could chunk something, okay, but it's, again, it's a little bit more, I've seen 2 rows of Claymores, and that particular one, they set it off on the riverbank, and it had 30 in one daisy chain, and then we went back about 50 yards and set another row of 20, and then we went back, because we were getting a lot of movement on the river. So like as they came ashore with boats to bring people in ordnance, okay, we fired the first bank really loud, ran back, okay, and by now there's this cluster fornication as they're trying to get out of the boat. No, I didn't get tagged on that one. So anyways, we were out on this thing and find a wire going across the rice paddy. So this is the deal, okay? So this is the lesson for anybody listening. And don't cut stuff if you don't know what it is. So we cut the wire, not a problem, because it's a comm wire.
And it's 4 of you guys.
Yeah. And we go, okay, what does this wire do? So as Marines, you pull on it.
Oh.
Okay, because we tracked it down to know
Okay.
there's here's a Claymore sitting right here. No,
Okay.
we're not that dumb. So we get the wire, we go out like 20, 25 yards on each end of the wire, staying low. Okay, it's not hooked to anything. Great. So we come back together and we start pulling on the wire. Bad idea. As it turns out later on, we're probably dealing with a platoon of North Vietnamese, okay, led by indigenous or local people, and they had split into two groups and were on either side of the tree line and used the black wire for comm because they were talking to each other, okay, and they were hauling rockets. So when we pulled the wire, we pulled the phones, they got belligerent. When they got belligerent, they started shooting, and I should have got out of the way sooner, okay, but whatever. So it kind of turns into a shit show, but it's actually awesome because they're shooting now literally at each other, okay, as we sort of get down and just sort of chunk something. And so like in this particular incident, as soon as it happened, we're only about 100 yards from our linear ambush, which of course is facing the wrong direction, okay? But you can't really stand up right now, so we call in for air cover. So like now we decide that, okay, great, we need to not be in the middle of this.
Yeah.
So we kind of crawl about 100 yards, give or take, a little jog here and under rice paddy dike and so we get back with our people. So we're kind of like in our linear, turning around the white way, folding the ends. Okay, everybody's cool. We're ready to rock. And here comes Puff. So that was, again, I got my taxpayers' money. There were 4 stacked over us.
Oh, dang.
And one would fire till it was empty, rotate off, bring in the next one, fire. So like when we got up the next morning, besides being covered in brass everywhere, okay.
So you're there through the entire night?
Yeah.
How many hours is that?
So I got shot at 11:30 and I got medevaced at 7 in the morning.
So is that early on in the fight you got shot?
11:30.
Yeah, right at the beginning?
Yeah, pretty close. Because like I was out there in the middle, then we crawled back and then we got the stuff and
And did you get, was it when you got shot, were you standing, were you shooting or were you?
No, actually I was sitting down and I was like moving over one of the other guys that got hit. So like I rolled my flak jacket off, which you were never supposed to do, but I took it off anyways, okay? Because like I got all this stuff about what you're supposed to do. I also know what you do, okay? And what you do isn't always what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
So I took the jacket off and go over there. And
so one other guy hit?
Yeah, and he's like, through the leg, so he's not gonna die. We like bandaged him, and mine was just like they just nicked me. It was like off my right shoulder.
Well,
okay. Whatever.
It was a little more than a nick. I mean,
yeah. What did I say in the cowboy movies? Yeah, they just nicked me. Okay,
it's just a flesh wound. It was a little more
a flesh wound. Yeah, right, sort of. But it's all good. You know what I mean? Like,
so you have 2 wounded out of 4.
Right. And so we go back, and the one guy's got a leg thing, which is another reason you crawl, because you kind of got to drag this guy, because he can't actually jump up and run. I mean,
is it your Marine or indigenous?
Indigenous. Okay, so one of my Vietnamese kids. So like, yeah. So when I say kids, everybody goes, what does that mean? Well, remember that the Marines and Cap units were generally 18, 19, and 20 years old. We were very salty. Okay.
Right.
Our Vietnamese were 15, 16, and 17 years old.
Wow.
Because as soon as they turned 18, they were automatically taken into the ARVN Army.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we had kids.
Yep.
Okay.
So one's wounded.
A lot of crazy kids. That's a great thing about a 15-year-old kid. He thinks he's going to live forever.
Right.
So he'll do some really dumb shit if he kind of likes you. Okay. So anyways, we get hit and we go there, and it's not a big deal. They're dropping flares, which turns out to be a shit show later on.
So you're hit. You're still moving.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm
and
fine.
You're trying to drag.
Yeah, we drag it down. Yes, yeah. There's no John Wayne stuff.
You're trying to move out of there.
So we get back to the ambush, fold in the ends. Everything is good. We're good. Now they figured out where we are, so they start shooting at us. That's fine. We start shooting at them.
And so now you're back with more Marines.
Yeah, I'm back with and this was one of those, by the grace of gods. On that particular evening, we didn't split into 2.
Okay.
Because everybody was a little tired. And so if you're tired, every once in a while, we put everybody and blend together. So we're now talking a nominal 24, 5 of us total.
Okay.
Marines and our Vietnamese.
And so are they still? Do you come back to they're lined up? You've moved back to them.
They know we're coming. We moved back to them, and we're all on the same line now.
Okay.
So now
are you getting treated right now? You got a corpsman on you?
Yeah, the corpsman comes. We always have a corpsman.
Yep.
That's sort of a Navy Marine.
Yep.
Okay. So like.
And what does he do? Does he just stuff your wound?
Well, the deal with it is really everyone shit themselves really bad, because when I got hit, the round was a tracer. So it kind of actually, even though we laugh about being nicked, it was a nick, yeah, sort of, but it kind of cauterized itself too.
Wow.
My jacket was a little bit kind of ashy, burning a little bit. I mean, like not on fire, but it was So like
Did it exit
in the
or
very
does it
beginning,
disintegrate when it hits? What did it do when it
it
hit?
actually just like went in, hit the shoulder, play a ball. What do they call that?
Yeah.
What do they call that?
I don't know, so a socket or
Yeah,
something?
yeah,
or-
yeah, the backside, and kind of creased it and went out. So it actually, if you look at it, it looks like a knife cut. I mean, it's not like this big gaping hole like guys that lost their freaking legs. I mean, bless them. Okay, so yeah, so he comes up and, you know, like when I kind of got on fire, it wasn't sort of, because at first it was just a really rock solid, heavy smack. I mean, think of Mike Tyson hitting you with a boxing glove.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, oh God, I've been hit and wounded, I'm dying. You know, no. All I remember the sensation is just like, you kind of wonder who the hell hit me. You know what I mean? That's how you kind of hit. So like when it was kind of ashy, I reached back and started smacking it. So when I smacked it, I splattered blood all over. So by the time I got back, covered in mud, then I got blood all over me. So it looks like my face has been blown off. Everyone's shitting themselves. I'm fine. You know, Mom, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine. And they go like, hey, here's some morphine. I go, oh, Jesus, no. Okay, like, no, we're just getting ready to rocket this thing. Because now the
thought I
two
was gonna
tree
take you out of
lines
the
have
fight?
turned this way. Now everyone's shooting. We're shooting back. Everyone's shooting. It's a happy meal.
So you're still fighting?
Yeah, I you know, whatever, bloop. There you go,
Yeah.
take that, you know, whatever. You know, no John Wayne shit, absolutely not. Call on the air, awesome. Here comes these puffs, man. So we got like one that came to us, and one more that came, and then one that was somewhere else that hadn't fired. So anyway, we had 4. They're awesome. They're circling, okay, and they're kind of laying off, so they're not like stacked up like a chimney. They're like laying off, okay. And you can always tell they'll turn. When they turn, you see the blue exhaust. Then you know it's getting ready to get ready because they turn, okay?
Yeah.
So anyways, when we got up the next morning, it literally looked like they had run for like football fields around us. Wow. It looked like someone had run a rototiller. Jeez. I mean, everything was shredded. Anything that had vegetation, shredded down to the stump. I mean, they shot the crap out of everything. So, and I would point out here that when a gunship shoots, bullets have been known to ricochet. So shit flies everywhere. This idea that every bullet fired from the plane goes into the ground, no, they don't. Okay, I mean that when you see the tracers, like the streams, okay, there's always 4 more between each one,
Yeah.
And all that stuff is going somewhere. Okay, and so like, I mean, you're kind of go like, it's an extra hole in my pack, and I didn't have it before. It's been underneath me like in this hole all night. There's no way anyone in that tree line could have shot that.
Yeah.
Okay, so like. That's where you get into weird shit like friendly fire and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was all great.
Sun comes up the next morning.
Yep. Helicopter comes in, air cav. Big old
comes
yellow
in.
shield. Okay.
How many people were wounded in that besides you and your injured?
Just the other 2. And I have no idea on the other side. You know, that was one of those ones where we don't know, we're not counting, we don't care.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like shoot everything. Let's move away from this before we run into something that's bigger. I think the cap units, they would stick and fight, but they also learned their lesson during TET. You know, like there are audio tapes of Marine cap units being overrun during TET.
Oh, wow.
Where the guys are on the radio going like, holy crap, man, there's like 300 guys out here. Jeez. Okay, and there's like 6 of us. Okay, tell my wife I said goodbye. You know, so yeah. But, you know, that happens.
Dang, so you're 2 weeks away from going home.
Right.
Now you're heading back and you go to a field hospital somewhere?
Yeah, so I go, long story short, helicopter, hospital ship, Da Nang. I go to Iwakuni, Japan. I stayed there for a month and change. And then from there, back to Okinawa, home for a month, and then back to Vietnam for 6 more months.
No kidding, with a new unit?
No, I went back to my cap units.
And but new guys or the same guys are still there?
A few of the same guys, yeah.
Because it's not one of those things where your whole unit's coming back and another one's relieving. The people are coming.
Right. So there's a thing, if anybody has interest in it, it's not a sales pitch, but it's called capmarine.com. And some people over the years have like put a lot of stuff together about it. And so they had a pretty high rate of attrition in cap units.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know how that is. If you take a small group and put them someplace, then they're, like your teams. If you put a SEAL team in of 4 guys, okay, and they run into 100 Taliban, you're going to have like losses. You know, it just happens. So, but yeah.
And you go back. So did you go home there and see mom and dad?
Yeah. So, right. Home.
And then going back
to Indiana, and then back to Vietnam, and then
same place, same village.
Yep. Actually, they had moved like to a new village, like I don't know, 2 miles closer to company headquarters, so to speak. And they were just shifting stuff, because you were out your welcome, so to speak, in certain places.
And same mission. Had anything changed in that time, or
nothing changed? Everything was the same.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. And they did that up until the time I left. When I left, I literally, it was like, no big happy meal. It's just your day. You just get your shit. You go back to Da Nang. They put you on the Pan American. You go directly from Vietnam to Hawaii, and then we went back. And of course, there when you're in Da Nang is where they do all the download. No hand grenades, no guns. You know what I'm getting at? So
turn everything back in.
Right, turn everything back in, and then literally when I got back, that was when. So it was December of '69. That was the fastest the Marine Corps ever moved with anything, because they were starting the Vietnamization. So literally, when we were there, there were probably 400 or 500 of us, like in different barracks and stuff.
Yeah.
And they just go like, "You're out of the Marine Corps." And I go like, "Yeah, but I signed up for 4 years." "Yeah, but we don't need you anymore."
Wow.
So I served right at 3 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And that was just it. Here you go, sign here.
Yep. And of course, you go into the reserves
For a few years, however long that was.
Yeah. And then there's, so like in December, I was in rice paddies, and in January, I got a job working for my first job was working for the phone company. I was up on top of a pole in northern Indiana in January, taking telephone wires down.
Wow.
So, no, like, hey, and I think I've told you, technically, everyone knows in the military there's a DD 214.
Right.
So, like, I never did anything after that. I mean, like in the sense of I just went on with my life. But then, and my friend I told you about that was Incheon. He was always badgering me about like, hey, go to the VA, get what you have coming. I mean, like in the.
And you went once.
So I went once in '70, and then I went once in 2002. So when I went back,
That was your follow-up appointment?
Yeah, that was my follow-up appointment.
Fairly typical.
32 years later, yeah. So I went, and then it was interesting though. You talk to the people, and you know what I'm getting at. Now we get into, they wouldn't even have known to call it that 30 years before, but now they have, post-traumatic stress, and do you need counseling? And I go like, I think I managed the last 32. I got this covered. But then it was amazing. I got all kinds of shit in the mail, okay, after I went. So I got it upgraded, what's called a DD 215.
Oh, really? I've never heard of this.
Right. So it had all your upgraded stuff, all the decorations that you kind of got shorted when you were chunked out the door. Not that they're worth a nickel or whatever. Hey. And the cool thing is I got like a formal in a red cover, Purple Heart citation.
Oh, wow. You didn't have one before?
No. I had a piece of type paper that said,
no one ever presented it to you. They shouldn't show up in the hospital and give you one.
They showed up at the hospital because I think I told you Lou Walt was a 3-star general. He gave me my Purple Heart in Da Nang before I went to Iwakuni, Japan. Right. Okay. So and Lou Walt had a vested interest in the cap units. He really liked them a lot. Okay. And he's an old Marine Raider from like Guadalcanal.
Oh, wow.
I mean, so this is a real deal Marine. Yeah, this is not like a 19-year-old knucklehead standing there shot because he forgot to get out of the way. This guy is a real Marine. Yeah. Like an original Raider.
Yep.
Not like,
Jeez.
So, but it was just you get all that stuff, and like I said, I always tell the joke like I got home on Saturday, and Sunday morning my dad came in.
This is what I was going to ask you about, because I think it's valuable for people.
Yeah, I love my dad. Okay, my dad is awesome. I had great parents, but my dad was born again hard. Okay. I mean, 42 missions in the Pacific, and he lost a lot of friends, and so it was funny. Saturday I get home, hey, hug, group hug, okay. Let's find a girlfriend right quick, okay. So whatever. So Sunday morning we're sitting at the table, and my mom's cooking breakfast, and she's just happy meal, and my sisters and brothers, everybody's like, yay, and stupid made it home, and so my dad walks in, and he goes, hey, I want you to know that I'm really thankful that you're home. I'm glad that you're safe, okay, and I appreciate what you did, okay, and he said, I need to know when you're going to get a job. And I go, tomorrow be okay, sir? He goes, yeah, that'll be fine.
I think that's valuable
That's
for
how
everyone.
we spent Sunday. Go get a
Yep.
job.
Because those guys got back from World War II, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, they just got back to work.
And I think that's it. I think, like we said, there's a lot of these things, heroes and honor. We know there are. You've met them. You've seen them. I know there are. I've met them. I've seen them. Like my friend Major Tom, he had a Silver Star, man. He had a Bronze Star. He had 3 Purple Hearts from 2 different wars. Yeah. Okay? I mean, this Legion of Merit, this guy is a guy.
Legit.
He's legit. I mean, I'm just a guy who forgot to get the fuck out of the way, you know what I'm saying? But, it was funny when I was in the DMZ up north before I got transferred to Cap Units. I did get a piece of mail, and I got my draft notice. So that was awesome. Okay, so yeah. But that happened to a lot of guys. It was really funny. It was sort of the family joke.
Yeah.
Used it as a fire starter that night. So yeah. But no, there's a lot more to life than just doing that. I think if you, and I'm absolutely, look you straight in the face. I am absolutely not a perfect person. I've done some shit in my life I'm not proud of, but I don't mean like rob banks or rape chickens. I'm saying, I would have made different decisions, on some stuff. But spending my 19th and 20th birthdays both in Vietnam and being 71 now, I wouldn't take a thing for it, but I don't want to do it again.
I get it.
If I had to do it again, like if you go, hey, Clint, I need you to come with me. Yeah, I'll go with you. But you already know I move slow. Okay, so I have a bum leg now, but whatever. But no, it's just a life experience. If you're going to call people heroes and talk about people with honor and talk about those things, they're probably, I don't know about those words, but I know there are people who showed up and gave their lives and died alone and probably scared. And I think that we should remember those people. I think there's something to that. And they did it a lot. I mean, we did it in World War I, we did it in World War II, we did it in Iraq, Afghanistan, and I don't know what honor is in a manner of speaking, man. We can come up with a definition, and I don't know, about all that. But I'm just saying that I think that there's something in us that needs to remember that other people didn't come back.
Sure.
And so, people go, hey, how's your life? And they go like, really? Dude, I'm living the dream. And I'm like, woo, compared to, I didn't come back, so like, yeah.
And what would you say to, or for a message for people that have not met you, have not come here to train, do not maybe have a mentor in their life, they've spent a few years in the military, they have an experience in Iraq and Afghanistan, and now they're home, and now they're out of the military. Do you have anything that you say to them? They say
you are told that a nominal 22 people a day commit suicide from military service members, prior service members. I think that if there was a way that we could help these people. Some people are just crazy. I know I've seen it as a cop. That guy's just crazy, okay? There's really no resolve. That guy's got a gun, he's walking around the front yard shooting. Yeah, I got it. There's a resolution for that. But I think they're also the same. There are people who, that we talked about a moment ago about people remembering people who perished.
Yeah.
I think there are people who have perished to a degree, but they're still physically here. I think if we could do something to maybe address that, I think there's probably some form of evil in the world, as we discussed. Yeah. But I think that maybe you and I could see if we could not contribute to that today.
Well,
maybe we could raise children that kind of had a, hey, you shouldn't get shit for free, and I got it. If people are downtrodden, and what's that thing on the Statue of Liberty? Give me your, yeah. But dude, really, like, here's a thought. On Sunday morning, your dad should walk in and go, get a job.
That's it, right there. Yeah. I think that's a great way to end it. Clint, thank you so much for doing this. And once again, it's an honor to know you, an honor to sit down with you. Thank you for taking the time to do this. And I'm looking forward to part 2.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Welcome to the gear review section of Danger Close. Okay, what do I have here? SIG P365. Love this pistol right here. This is what I'm carrying more often than not when I leave the house. So this thing is legit. If you don't have one, you probably should. Okay. Also, a blade. So this is an Amtac Northman. My friend Bill Rapier, who's a former SEAL, designed this thing. Awesome. And on the sheath, you can even start fire with this bad boy. And this one doesn't go in the appendix. It goes in your pocket. So it has that clip there, just like another clip-it type knife. So that's legit right there. And if I'm carrying that, which I am, I also carry something else. So for opening packages or cutting rope or whatever else, so I'm not using the knife that's reserved for fighting. So this one is a New West Knife Works, and it's super thin, and love this little thing. So this is like the utility knife, and that one's the fighting knife. All right, Aries watch. So I've been wearing this for about a year and a half now, something like that. But Matt Graham, Aries watches, did some work at the agency, and just super guy. He also likes Land Cruisers. Awesome. So this thing, super cool. Oh, Pistola goes in the Black Point Tactical Mini Wing. So when I got out of the Navy, I tried so many different holsters, tried out a ton of different ones, and just loved the Black Point Tacticals, especially these Mini Wings that have the leather right there, so it wraps a little bit, and it's an awesome crew down there as well. Ball and Buck wallet, nice and slim. Thanks, guys. Awesome company there. And then for a light, boom, boom. So got this guy here. It's a Streamlight. So if I lose it, falls out of the pocket, it's I'm not going to have a heart attack because it is not crazy expensive, but it's still a great light. And if you lose it, not the end of the world. So definitely have a few of these. What else here? Phone case. Who's that? Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. Why? Because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. Awesome. And what else do I have here? This pen, pretty cool. I don't even know who makes it, but it's like a lever action rifle. Got this for my retirement. Thing is awesome. Love this pen. And then if you see me somewhere out and about and I have my backpack on or I'm a coffee shop or whatever, usually I have one of the copies of the book. So be sure and stop me, say hello. I'd be happy to sign this for you. So that's that. Thank you for tuning in to the Danger Close podcast. For more with Clint Smith, follow him at Thunder Ranch Inc. and hit the website thunderranchinc.com, and be sure to pick up his book, Urban Rifle 2, and make this the year you get out to Thunder Ranch. It's a 900-acre facility out in Oregon. It's incredible, beautiful, and I get out there every chance I get. So get out there, pay them a visit, do rifle work, pistol work, scoped rifle work. Just get out there. You will thank me. And until the next time, hey, you can follow me at officialjackcarr.com, Jack Carr USA, and be sure to leave a review if you like this podcast, and leave a good one. Until the next time, take care, be safe, keep fighting.